Hello, everybody. Welcome to another brand new episode here on Boundary Line Podcast. My name is Dillon Pink, and we witnessed another enthralling test match here, the second Ashes test between England and Australia. And again, it went onto the wire, but not so good if you're an England fan. But if you're a neutral fan, this was an amazing test match there. Australia batting first, scoring 416 and 279, and England there in the first innings scoring 325 and just 327 in their second innings, falling short there by 40 odd runs, and Ben Stokes played one of the brilliant test knocks that you'll ever find. We'll come to that, all that and more, but we got our guests here on the show, Sheldon Dougherty and Sherman as well here today. Guys, I'm going to ask a question to Sherman first. Sherman, I know it's not the best time there if you're an England fan, but Ben Stokes, that knock was absolutely brilliant. He went all the way, but just not getting the help from the other guys.
Oh, Dylan, didn't we think it was Headingley again? Oh, Ben Stokes. It was going to be him, wasn't it? I mean, at the end of the day, it was just too many runs. I mean, didn't he score more than he did in Headingley? And I thought he did more. I thought this was a better innings than Headingley, actually. The way he marshaled the tail, it just looked possible, but maybe just out of reach. I think the rest of the batsmen just left too much for him to do, but what an innings. I mean, he's Superman, right? England's Superman, as we keep saying. But even Superman does have kryptonite, and at the end of the day, it was just a little too much for him to do.
Yeah, Sheldon, welcome to the show, man. But just going back, let's go back there to day one. Ben Stokes wins the toss and puts Australia to bat. Could he have done something different there, Sheldon? Could he have chosen to bat first there? Would this test match have been any more different there? Because I thought Australia batted really well there in that innings there, Sheldon, too. And probably, Steve Smith sealed the deal there for them.
Yeah, to answer you simply, the answer is no. I think it was the right call. I thought the bowlers let him down that morning. It's very easy to say, you should have batted first. It was overcast in the morning. Perfect conditions for bowling. I thought Jimmy Anderson and Ollie Robinson were pathetic on day one. I thought KP, the way he put them down on day one was absolutely spot on. They looked like a bunch of county bowlers on day one. And that's putting it nicely because Stuart Broad, brilliant. He's been their best bowler by far. Tongue as well, it's first Ashes test and he looked much better than Anderson and Robinson. In fact, I dropped them straight away next game. And that's not me being too critical as well. Robinson wants to talk in the press, right? You want to talk. No, back it up on the pitch because that's absolutely rubbish the way he played in these two games. I mean, the Australians are talking, but they're winning games, right? That's what you got to do. Stokes talks, but he performs like he did today. Robinson, Anderson, for me, done. Get Woakson, get Wooden. The way they bowled on day one and even in the second innings when they got overcast conditions, my gosh, you can't take a wicket with the new ball. Where do you play your full life? You play in England, right? In overcast conditions with the Duke's ball. And then you bowl like that? Pathetic. I think Stokes got the call absolutely right. If you had better bowlers like Stark and Cummins, give me those two bowlers. They'd have got 3-4 wickets with the new ball.
Yeah, they're feeling the brunt there, Sheldon, going on. But yes, I mean, it does happen. I totally understand, when the game's on the line there and it's
love you,
so
Jimmy.
Close. No offense, but it's time to say goodbye, Jimmy. I mean, we're joking here. But Sherman, I want to ask you a question there and, just continue where Sheldon left off there because Woakes, absolutely brilliant player. And I thought in this match, could they have included him in the squad there? Because Josh Tongue, yes, I know it was good, but Anderson, do you feel now there's no impact from him here? Because both the matches, he's not had that much of an impact, Sherman. So can England, go in with Wood and Woakes straight away into the next test?
So from what I'm hearing is that Moeen is actually going to be fit for that third test. So that's one thing we got to consider before talking about the fast bowlers, that Moeen's probably going to slot in at 8. So then comes the question about Anderson and Robinson. And I agree completely with Sheldon. Overcast conditions, day one, that's Anderson's bread and butter. Yeah. They say you always know when the end comes. I think it's pretty close to the end now. Because if Anderson cannot do it in those conditions, I worry. And I could see this being like the next test probably being his last if he wants to retire midway, or maybe the 5th test being his last because as a player. And I think he himself knows. Like if you remember Edgbaston the last day when England needed a wicket, I'm pretty sure Stokes went to Anderson and Anderson was like, no, go to Robinson. You don't say that if you're the best in the world. You don't say that if you give me the ball. I'll get this wicket. I'll get this guy for you. Jimmy knows something's a little off. He's not doing it. And Robinson is another thing altogether. What is Robinson bowling? 78 I think all of us look at that speed gun when Robinson's bowling. Sheldon makes a valid comment. He keeps saying that Root is bowling faster than Robinson at this moment.
Yeah.
So Robinson has to be dropped. And I would drop Anderson as well. If Moeen is going to come in, then that leaves only one more spot. So that I think that has to be Wood. England are severely lacking pace. If you're going to make flat wickets, sure. I mean, if it's swinging around corners, well, they're not getting the job done. So I don't know if you want to do that. But if you're going to make flat wickets, Mark Wood has to play. I don't care if he's hobbling on one leg. Get Mark Wood in and keep Tongue in, because they're the only ones who do that. Extra pace is getting you wickets. And we need that right now. Chris Woakes is another thing altogether. I mean, the Lord of Lords, they call him. He should have played here probably, because England cannot afford to go into a test match if they're batting like this, especially with such a long tail. I'm sure they'll come up later. We're going to talk about it, but the tail is a massive problem. You cannot have Stuart Broad coming at 8. Yes, he batted extremely well today, but England are just too volatile a batting lineup to have someone like that coming at 8. You got to have a Chris Woakes, you got to have a Moeen Ali. That change, Moeen Ali coming in the next test will help. But maybe they should look at Chris Woakes, because the ODI team has a very similar problem to this. When you bat the way they bat, you need that extra leeway, someone to at least stay with the batsman, because if you go straight to the bowlers, everyone's going to keep hitting. You'll be all out quite quick.
Yeah, for sure, Sherman. Hear you there. The England have some problems there with that long tail, but yeah, Robinson also, speaking before the match, and I kind of mentioned that on social media that never talk before the match is even played, and he said that we're going to win by 150 runs or something like that, didn't he? Or was it was it somebody else? Crawley, yeah, of course, yeah. Got to be Zach Crawley or Robinson there,
but I know, right?
But Sheldon, I wanted to ask you one question there with Australia's batting. I mean, the man of the moment came to the party there. Sherman said that in the previous podcast that he fears this guy. It just seemed that he was going to get 100, and he finally did. And Steve Smith is an absolute legend of the game. The way he played, when he came out to bat, Sheldon, you felt that yes, this was his day.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. And his record in London as well is brilliant. If you take his stats at the Oval and Lords, it's one of the best. It's probably better than any English batsman who plays there as well. He's so good. And when he gets into that form, day one as well, everyone's saying it's overcast. Okay, who you want to come out to bat for you if you're Australia? It's Steve Smith, isn't it? A bit of tough conditions. The bowling attack didn't start well. What were they, 160 odd for 2 when he came in or something? And then he just comes in and he just puts them to the sword. And yeah, another terrific Smith knock, man of the match as well. Well deserved. And Dill, what did you think of Smith's knock? It's just insane the way he played, right?
Yeah, Sheldon, absolutely. I thought the way he played was absolutely good. He came out, he looked good, and there was some intent shown straight away from him. You saw that he was busy, unlike the way he played in Edgbaston. The first test, he was looking a bit iffy, edging stuff, but here he came out, he knew exactly what he was going to do. But Steve Smith can do nothing wrong at this moment there. Sheldon, just sticking with you on the next question, coming to England's batting there, I thought Ollie Pope and Zach, I thought they should have gone on to get, some more runs there, because in the end there, I felt, yes, you get those important runs, 30s and everything, but you got to take it on, right?
Yeah, Dil, I think that's a good point you mentioned. Once you get a start, you got to kick on and make big scores. Especially when Australia scored 420 odd. And to get anywhere close, you need your guys to convert. Duckett as well, 90 odd. Come on, man, kick on a bit. Get 100. And Till, I want to come to one part of the game, which I know we had which I think everyone was talking about as well, the bouncer barrage, which Australia did on day 3, was it? And God, Till, at that time, I wanted to pull my hair out, because that was some of the most brainless batting I've ever seen in my life. Bazball, attack, whatever. I'm not blaming Bazball or anything for that. That's just a lack of common sense. Bowlers can't bowl bouncers that long. And I thought, okay, Pope's wicket, he was the first one to fall to the bouncers. I'm okay with that, because if one guy falls, at least, okay, it's okay. It didn't work. Stop hitting the ball, right? Root comes. Root nicks it. Oh, it's a no ball. Great. Okay, he's going to get 100 now. No, he keeps playing the bouncer. And my God, that was so silly. The fact that England were 190 for 1, Till, no other team. If India won that position, 190 for 1, they would have made 600. If they got that same pitch, if Australia won that position, 190 for 1, Labuschagne and Warner there, I'm not sure they would have done that, or, got all out for below 400. And it's just, I don't know, a lack of killer instinct. How many times in the series have England been in a position where they could kill off the game, and they just let Australia back in? And when you let the Australians back in a game, oh boy, they're not going to let you back in that game too often, are you? And I felt that part of the game changed the game for me because England, the way they started, shouldn't have been 90 runs behind. And that for me was the main moment of the game. I don't know if you guys think that as well, but that for me was the moment where, okay, 90-run lead, way too much to concede after the position they were in.
Yes, Sherman, sticking to what Sheldon said with that short ball thing that Australia was trying out there, that was some bizarre batting, man. Like as much as you want to like England and you want to like the guys. I mean, I'm a big fan of Root and all these guys, right? There's Stokes and Root and everything, but that sort of batting, Sherman, was just not acceptable from them, especially after okay, you see like Pope getting out, you see Root getting out, you can't keep going out for that, and that's what hampered the batting, right? And in the end, they like you mentioned also 90 runs, giving that important lead on this sort of a wicket, it's going to cost you in the end. And I think that's exactly what they were missing, right?
I agree completely, Dil. And we talk about Bazball a lot, but we've seen Bazball in full effect against South Africa, India, New Zealand,
yeah.
Where it's calculated. You need to calculate your aggression. It's not just hit for the sake of hitting no matter what. We've seen the way Bairstow, when this first started last summer, Bairstow would take his time. He'd also start slow, like how Stokes did. That's pretty much get in, and then get your iron and then play your shots. Yes, but also use your brains. Like it's not just blindless hitting. That's not what Bazball is. I will keep repeating that. These guys have taken advantage of the freedom. There was an article I read on Crick Info actually that said like when Stokes got out in the first innings, and he was watching this, like what was happening before him and stuff like that, right? Like how everyone is just playing these mindless shots. Baz came and sat next to him and he looked irritated. He looked like, what are y'all doing? We gave you all freedom. Yes, let's have a beer. Let's play golf. Yes, there's not that much training, but that's to encourage you to express yourself, to be who you are in county. I don't think you go out and play this way in county. What is this extra aggression? If the captain himself is not doing it, where is this coming from? Why is everyone feeling the need that this ego that we will dominate you, Australia. We are better than you, Australia. These are the test champions. You got to have some brains to beat them. They're not just going to, like, some attacks might come and just keep bowling line like, oh, yes, we're hitting you left, right, and center. But this is not that. They've won the test championship. They know how to win tests. Like, that is their motto. Like, you got to be smarter than that. And England were just not smart. As Sheldon said, brainless. And that's the difference between England and Australia right now. England are beating England. Australia just sitting and waiting. Australia just sit, wait. England will beat England. Johnny Bairstow today. I'm sure we'll talk. I mean, England are beating England. If that doesn't happen, how close would England have got to that target? Maybe Stokes would have won it, because that was when Bairstow gets out. It's too far away for Stokes to really pull it back, to be quite honest. That's what I thought at that point of time. He needs another batsman to make a 50 to an 80 in order for him to get 150 and win the game, just by math, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just too much. If the bowlers are going to just stand there and expect him to do all of it, he has to score a double 100 hitting like that's quite impossible. So that's the thing. Like, Bairstow had to get a 50 or something, and that was the moment it changed. If Bairstow just stays in his crease, I mean, how brainless is that? Tell me, have you ever seen any other team that loses wickets because of their own stupidity as much as England do? I haven't. I've watched from Bangladesh, West Indies, India, like I can name all of them. I've never seen this. Why are you doing this? Where's the thought process behind this? It's so self-inflicted that the Ashes is nearly gone now because you have done this, and something needs to change. But I don't know if it's too late already. That's the question we need to ask.
Yeah, Sheldon, just sticking with that question, what Sherman said, I mean, that statement, actually, what he said, that Australia are just waiting back, they sit back and bowl, and then they just wait for England to make the mistake. It almost seems that way, right? Because we've discussed the shot selection was wrong from them on that day, and even today with Johnny Bairstow, my God, I felt that I don't know what was the eagerness to go down the pitch and talk to Stokes every ball. And I mean, you have to give credit where it's due. I think Australia were really aware. And I thought, the moment he left his crease, Alex Carey was super quick and he just got the bails out. That sort of awareness, Sheldon, only the Australians can bring, right? And then you just felt that, okay, Stokes had to do something different. But what Sherman said, I completely agree with that. I don't know if you do, because I think the Australians just bowl in the good areas and they wait. And then, of course, England make the mistakes, right?
Yeah, I want to mention Alex Carey, actually, because you mentioned him. I thought his keeping's been brilliant in these two games.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's been light and day watching Bairstow keep and Carey keep. And obviously, Bairstow did come back from injury, so you can understand that. But Carey's keeping's been excellent. It's almost like he's been keeping in England forever. But yeah, I thought Sharma was spot on. It's just mistake after mistake they keep making to let Australia back in, and Australia will stick in the game. I think Australia do that as well as anyone. They are like, you know what, they won't let England get too far ahead. They'll stay in a position where, okay, if England have 20 minutes of terror where like they had in this test, we'll be back ahead in this game. Like Australia, no, just stay close enough. And when they get an opening, they'll find. And Mitchell Starc, I mean, he came in this test, and I know Starc bowls a lot of crap, right? We saw even in the World Test Championship, he'll bowl a lot of crap. But when Starc's on it, and I'll say this, I've said it before, he's one of the best bowlers on the planet. That ball to Ollie Pope, wow.
That was the ball of the Ashes so far. That's the ball of the Ashes so far.
And I know people were like, oh, Pope could have done. I'm like, man, that's quite a ball. I mean, come on, if you get that. I thought even the ball to Harry Brook, actually, from Cummins, that was a peach, which he got first up as well. Yeah. And that's what happens when you have pace as well, Dill, right? And accuracy. Like you saw when Anderson and Broad, or even Robinson, when they're bowling a good ball, Kawacha has so much time. He can just wait for it. Okay, you can see it swinging in the air. But when Starc and Cummins bowl that with that pace, oh man, if it swings late, you're dead. And as we saw with those two balls in particular, like that extra pace just makes a difference.
Yeah, Sheldon, just want to ask you one more question there before we move to Sherman there, because I felt Australia, you know, when they came into bat in the last innings there, Khwaja and Smith really were looking good, but England got back into the game. Then again, like you said, they just let Australia off the hook again, you know, but they did well. They bowled them out, but when they came out to bat, again, the same mistake. Zach Crawley, again, Ollie Pope, you said with that pitch of a ball there. Harry Brook not able to convert. Joe Root, okay, he's had, you know, the one-off test match where he's not looked good, but he's in form. But, you know, just like you said, Australia just seemed to be in the game, and they knew if they get a few early wickets, this game was going to go away, right?
Yeah, and I know you mentioned that as well, that they got good balls. Australia get good balls as well. How many times have they been 40 for 4? Or have they ever lost a wicket that early? Like, it just feels like Australia, no matter how well England are bowling, they never lose 2-3 wickets early on. They'll always be around 80 for 2, 100 for 3. That's like the max they'll go, 100 for 3, I think. That's the max they've been in trouble. But you always see someone in that top 3 or 4 get runs. Khawaja in the second innings, again, he got runs. I know we spoke about him in the first game, but he just bats, and he'll bat as long as he can. And again, a key knock. Smith as well in that second innings. But I know England did take wickets, but my gosh, watching bounces all day is quite boring. I mean, especially, you know, when medium pacers are bowling it, that was the most dull period. I know it was going well for England and I was enjoying the wickets, but that was very dull. And I hope the umpires do something about it. And I'm not saying because England struggled, Australia lost as many wickets to bouncers, but you can't allow 6 bounces per over.
Exactly. That's what even I was thinking. Like, how many bounces are these guys allowed to bowl? Because both Australia and England were bowling at least 4 bounces every over. And I was like, is this okay? Right?
Exactly. And I think you were mentioning as well how, where's the full ball? Where's the Yorker? Like, guys, I get it, a bouncer plan, right? But surely if you have Mitchell Starc in your team, you'll throw in a quick Yorker here and there, right?
Yeah, absolutely, Sheldon. You know, some of the moments in this match, you know, we can go on and on there. But Sherman, actually coming to you, I know England bounced back in there, but I think, you know, the moment I think when Australia got that fight, got a thing in them was when Nathan Lyon came out to bat there on 1 foot. I mean, you got to give credit where it's due. You know, 15 runs could have made the difference. And right, you look at him, he hobbles his way out over there. And, you know, that's really sad to see because Nathan Lyon's an absolute champ, right? What did you think of that now?
I thought it showed real courage for him to come out and bat. Personally, I think we've seen many players get injured over the years, but not many do what he did. For me, it's a sign that his Ashes is over because you don't want to aggravate it, especially if you have a chance of coming back like for the 4th or 5th test. If the doctor must have told him it's the end. So then, you know, at that point you say like, okay, well, I'll do what I can for the team. And as you said earlier today, it looked like those 15 runs could be mighty vital when Stokes was whacking it to all parts. But no, great credit to Nathan Lyon. I personally love Nathan Lyon. I haven't said this enough, probably never in public. Yeah. But for a guy who doesn't have a doosra, like we've been brought up with spinners having doosras, and that you always felt an off spinner needed to have one. Then we saw Nathan Lyon, Graham Swan. These are guys, Ashwin to an extent. Like, you know, they all really thrive. And, you know, in today's climate, especially because as the doosras moved away from cricket, and Nathan Lyon's like a real 90s kind of cricketer that, you know, you're like, wow, you love watching him. And the courage he showed to come out and bat was just amazing. I wish him well. I hope he gets back soon. Some say this may be his last Ashes in England. So wish him well even then. I don't really want to see you back in England, Nathan. I mean,
what a guy.
you've caused us a lot of terror. But that's another question actually, that when Nathan Lyon goes down, how it makes England's tactics look even worse. Australia don't have their frontline spinner going into the final innings, and you need to be smarter about it. And let's see what happens now. I mean, going into the final 3 tests.
Yeah, going into the final 3 tests, Sheldon, but coming to the final day drama that happened today. I mean, it was written, this day was like actually scripted. I mean, I don't know who writes these scripts, Sheldon. We mentioned that even in the first test, right? It can't go down to the wire. You can't keep doing this every time when these two teams play. But 250 ought to get there on the final day. You'd have guessed, okay, they can do it, but like we mentioned, Stokes needed someone to stand there. But take a bow, Ben Stokes. I mean, this guy is an absolute champ. It brought back memories there from 2019 where he did this. He went all the way to, to take England home, but not today, Sheldon. But I think a credit to Ben Stokes for the way he played there. But some of the drama there in between there with Ben Stokes, Johnny Bairstow, Stuart Broad there also. I mean, this was an absolute action pack there, right?
Oh, they're brilliant, right? Ashes cricket at its best. And Ben Stokes, I mean, what a champion cricketer, right? I mean, I've said this a lot, but the way he just produces these great moments still, the moments seem to find Ben Stokes, right? Not Ben Stokes finds these moments. It's just brilliant. I mean, What a knock. Probably better than his Headingley knock. I think that's Ben Stokes' best innings ever. And boy, he's played some good innings, but unbelievable. Probably sad that he didn't have a partner. But when Broad was there, that was quite the partnership. I mean, what drama. Stuart Broad as well, who we know has struggled with the bounces, but he was showing fight, and the way he kept putting his bat in as well to show the Aussies that he took the mickey out of them as well, him and Manis, and that was just pure drama. I think as long as that partnership was going, I think it was going through Cummins' head. He seemed like he was having a lot of nightmares at that time.
Yeah,
Pointing on Combs was bashing every decision he was making as well.
Ponting wanted to bash the hell out of Cummins, I think, because how long was he not bowling Stark? Stark was not getting the chance to bowl, and you were just wondering why, right?
And I mean, some of those shots as well Stokes played, it was very similar to Headingley. The shots on the leg side, and it's just crazy to think they have all the guys on the boundary, and he's still taking them on and clearing them with ease. And all you hear people talking is about how the Lord's boundary is long and how, that's hard to clear that. And then Stokes was making it look like a cakewalk when he was batting that. But yeah, unbelievable innings. And I thought today was just, that was just drama. It was brilliant cricket and unlucky in the end for England. But yeah, I think Australia overall, given how they played in this game, probably deserved it.
Yeah, Sheldon, but Sherman, I'm sorry, moving on to you there. One final question for you before we wrap this up there. Third test around the corner there in, I think, earlier this week now on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, is the next test. They're moving on there. But do you think now this is enough from England? The kind of experimenting, this brash sort of way that they're playing there. It's not worked the first 2 times. Yes, it almost worked in the first test. It didn't work at all today. Do you think they need to do something different rather, or just make a few changes, get in Wokes, get in Wood, get in Moeen Ali, and then see how it goes? What do England need to do here from now on? Because 2-0 now down in this Ashes, you got to agree that it's not going to be easy to win it from here.
What I think England will do is that they're going to go harder. That is what I will tell you. If anything, going for 3-2 will sharpen Stokes' mind to say that now we have to win every game. And we have to go for the win in every game. There is no draws, there's nothing. So that's what he's going to tell his players. I can tell you that for sure. He's like, we'll have to attack them. We have to somehow beat them. I wouldn't be thinking about 3-2 just now. I'll be thinking about 1. Let's get 1 on the board, because once you get 1 on the board, it'll send, at least a thought into the Aussie camp. Like, they can beat us. And then it becomes a conversation. But England have to get over the line, Headingley. How they get over the line, it's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough. I personally don't see England winning the Ashes from here. You got it live. I'm saying it from here. I think Australia will win this like 4-1 or something like that. But I think England will win a test. But if England have any hope, they have to win the next one. And I think that Stokes can't change now. It's too late now. It's just too late for anything. We're too far in the series to really change a style of play. He's going to stick with this. England are going to stick with this. They're going to probably go down in flames. I'll say 90% chance that's going to happen from now. But he cannot change right now. It's just too late. What I would say is he needs to have a talking to his batsman. He's like, I've given you freedom. I've let you all play this way, but someone needs to take responsibility. Get 100, get 150. You get in, play your shots, but be smart. Watch how I play today. Everyone on the boundary. If I can clear that, Like, I'm sure y'all know, which ball to hit. It's as simple as that. Y'all don't have to hit every ball. It's as simple as that. What I will say is, I'm sorry, Jimmy, but it's over. I cannot take watching another test where we're running in with medium pace bowlers. That is why I felt they didn't bring Wokes in for this game in place of Tongue, because they wanted that extra pace. So maybe Wokes instead of Jimmy, it's going to be tough or something. But with Moeen coming in, I think it's time to drop like Robinson and Jimmy, and then Moeen and Wood. If Wood is fit, I don't know what the state of Wood is. I'm very confused on what's happening with Wood. You put him in the squad. He hasn't played cricket for a while, and now he hasn't played the first two test matches. It's going to be extremely difficult to cover to Headingley, which is known as a swinging ground, and ask Wood to bowl over there when he should have probably played over here. So if it's green, play Wokes. If it looks very flat, which is what Stokes has asked for, play Wood.
They have a lot of thinking to do there, England. But Sheldon, what do you think? Is it time up for Anderson? Thank you so much, Jimmy. Should England go that route, or do you think Ben Stokes is going to be like, no, we're going to still play the same way, but they can't afford to make the same mistake, Sheldon. That's basically what I'm trying to say. I love the whole idea. I love the whole thing. That yes, we need to play aggressive, but you don't see that. You just see the same mistakes happening like they did at Edgbaston. You see the same mistake that's happened here. Yes, you got in that test, they just lost by a few runs. But in this one, you got to say that the batsmen didn't do their job.
Yeah, and to be honest, they'd have lost by 200 runs this game if it wasn't for Stokes' miracle innings. And I think Stokes' innings kind of papered over the cracks a bit. I was telling Sharm earlier, I don't think England played that well, in the second innings or first innings as well. They probably should have lost by like 200 runs. But just because he did that in Headingley in 2019 as well, and then England lost the next game. So like it just shows that, okay, great innings. We know Stokes is that great, but his other batsmen need to step up. We need Pope to score, or Duckett to score, or Crawley to score, like a big 100 or something, because that is what they need more than Stokes and Root. We didn't learn anything new. Root 100 in the first game, Stokes 100 in the second game. They're two world-class players. We know that already, right? That's nothing new. I mean, they've done it year in, year out. So like, yeah, the rest need to step up. And yeah, it's over for Jimmy for me. I think as well, I saw before we went on this call that Wokes and Wood are in the squad for the next test. So Rian Ahmed isn't in the squad, and Moeen's there as well. So it's a 15-man squad. So Wokes, Wood, and Moeen are there. So very likely two of them would play, I think, the next game.
Yes, very likely that England are going to make changes, and very likely we are going to see England kind of play the same way, which I don't feel they're going to back out like Sherman said. But thank you so much for watching the video, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure bringing it to you. We've had an amazing test match here. Another one going down right until the last day. But in the end, Australia holding their nerve as usual and just getting over the line there. Steve Smith, man of the match, for his brilliant 100 in that first innings. But Ben Stokes and all other English fans are going to feel that he got them so close, but no one else was there with him to get the team over the line. But let's see what happens in the next test that's starting on Thursday. We'll be back for that. And if you have any ideas for our channel, do let us know in the comment section. You can follow us on Instagram. Our handles down there in the description, and also do subscribe to our channel, guys. And we'll see you soon in the next video. Thank you so much.